Hello everyone, and welcome to Divine Debut. This is Kathy speaking, and I'm here with your Astro update, just bringing into focus a little bit the astrology these days because there's a lot going on. Now, I've run the chart for the new moon in Cancer on the 10th of July. Okay, so I put it at 0 Aries so that you could see the the chart as how it is naturally with 0 Aries here. Anyway, so this new moon in Cancer will be at the 18th degree of cardinal water sign Cancer. Cancer is the mother, it's the home, it's our family, it's our heritage, our lineage, matters to do with the past. It could relate to an actual home as well. Anything new, and we know that a new moon is a seed that's planted. So today is actually the 8th of July, a couple of days before the new moon. So I just wanted to give you a heads up of what's going on. So a new moon is a new seed. Now, the importance of this new moon is that if we look back to last year, roughly at this time, we had eclipses happening on this axis Cancer Capricorn. And we had a very important eclipse, which was a new moon eclipse, a solar eclipse. So it was at the 0 degree mark of Cancer. That was on the 21st of June of 2020. And we know eclipses, especially as a new moon, it was a very potent, very important new moon. And remember that 0 degrees of Cancer, this is when the seasons change, right? We're moving into cardinal energy. Okay, this is a very important point in the chart, and at 0 degrees Cancer, really, really important as being an eclipse. So I do feel that this new moon, because it is the first new moon really that isn't an eclipse, those of you that are Cancer Sun, anything important that one has got in Cancer, it's very significant for you. And we know it's all about new beginnings, right? Having a new moon without having the pressure of having the eclipses, because the eclipses do speak to fated events happening. And remember, it's very much about celestial energies, potent celestial energies, where if we haven't been on our right path, we need to be put on the path, or changes need to happen. Fated events take place. Now, Cancer can also speak to one's country, okay? And also on the note of the 21st of June of last year, that 0 degrees new moon solar eclipse in Cancer, we also had a second consecutive new moon in Cancer at the 28th degree on the 20th of July, which is just around the corner, really. It's been a whole year, let's say, since that. 2 consecutive new moons happening in the sign of Cancer. One was an eclipse, the other one was not, but it was still very close to the eclipses. And, well, the nodes shifted, right? The nodes now are in Gemini, North Node in Gemini and South Node in Sagittarius. The nodes did shift from Cancer Capricorn, and that happened on May 5th of 2020. So the nodes shifted just before these eclipses, and they were right on the cusp, right, of Cancer here. All right, so I do believe that this new moon is signifying, it's pointing back to that time. What was going on for you? Now, not everyone is a Cancer sun, moon, rising. Not everyone, okay, is a cardinal sign, because remember that the new moons, full moons, they do affect, if it's in a cardinal sign, they obviously affect the other cardinal signs as well, especially the sign opposite, which is Capricorn. Okay, so everyone, though, we've all got Cancer, Capricorn, Aries, and Libra in our own personal chart, depending on how our chart is set out. So it is relevant to everyone, but just that it's more to those that are more closely related to Cancer, Capricorn, and let's say Libra and Aries. Okay, so what's going on with this new moon, everyone? As you can see here, we've got a trine, a beautiful trine to Neptune. And Neptune in Pisces is very strong. It's in its home sign. So a trine is magical. It's flowing energy. We've got Pisces, Cancerian signs here. Water signs, very sensitive, very intuitive, very emotional is Cancer. Right? We're talking about our roots, our heritage, our bloodline. It could speak to matters of the past, to our ancestral background as well. So new moon in Cancer, that is not an eclipse right now, beautiful, and in a wonderful trine to Neptune. So Neptune could speak to magic, it could speak to compassion. It's very empathic, it's very magical. But remember, Neptune can also speak to illusion in Pisces. It does speak to surrender. But, you know, I do see Neptune very much as magical and dreamy and creative. So we're creating something magical right now, this new beginning. This could be for some of you that, you know, you're moving homes, you're looking into a new home. This could be a new beginning where you're planting those seeds to feel comfortable, safe, secure, happy, and loved. Okay, in not so many ways, and for everyone it's going to be different. Now that's very helpful here. What else do we have though here? What I notice here is Eris, and Eris, she's the goddess of discord and war. She's the sister of Mars, and she is unfortunately squaring to this new moon. So anything to do with, remember, Aries is cardinal fire, it's the warrior, it's ruled by Mars, and she's in her brother's sign, let's say Mars ruled Aries, so she's all about, you know, where there's no safety, security, love, connection. She's all about discord and changes. A square does speak to difficulties, okay, and Aries is cardinal fire. It wants to take charge, it wants to instigate changes, it needs to be nurtured, provided for. She's classified as a nano planet, and she's very similar to Pluto, if we can compare her to Pluto, right? And she's going to speak up. She's like a divine feminine that's very masculine, I'm going to say, because she's in the masculine Mars ruled Aries, right? She's got that strong masculine side. Think of Athena, right? Think of the goddess of war. She's very much about that, and she will not sit back and take something that is unfair. Now, back in mythology, something happened. I mean, it's a great story. I have mentioned it before, but she was not invited to a party, and she felt all those lower vibrational energies of jealousy and vengeance, and, you know, she kicked up a storm because she spoke up. She wasn't happy with something. So that is what is squaring over to this new moon. So I don't know how that's going to play out. We know that what's going on in the world, there is a lot of havoc going on in the collective story, if we can call it a story. And we've got the goddess of war squaring over to, you know, the home, to the country, to sensitivities, to, you know, the sign of motherhood. Remember that Cancer is ruled by the moon, so having a new moon here is very important. So we're turning a corner where there's been injustice and unfairness. People are going to be speaking up, whether it's relative to their country or to their home, right? We've got the divine feminine in a masculine sort of sign that's ready to take charge. She's going to take action towards injustices. Now, right across this new moon is Pluto, and Pluto we know is all about, he's the god of death, transformation, resurrection. Pluto is very powerful. Pluto in Capricorn is very powerful. Remember, it's all about leadership. It's about those people that are in charge. Capricorn is the leader. I see Capricorn as the emperor. And the emperor, if he's not ruling his empire in a proper way, I do feel that the people that he's ruling over are going to speak up right now on a collective scale as well as on a personal scale. Remember that Pluto in Capricorn is the patriarchal system that's being broken down one bit at a time. Capricorn is earth, and it's very hardworking. It's the elder. It's, something long term, something that has been there, has been in place, in a certain place, done in a certain way for a long, long time. But Pluto, as he works slowly as well. He's bringing in the transformation and the resurrection. Pluto can also speak to riches, everyone, and money. And remember that Pluto rules Scorpio, and Scorpio also is about poison. It's about healing. It's about, think of Pluto as being the snake, right? The snake, which is very much about transformation. And with the snake, the snake's poison comes from the throat, which speaks to conversation, words, communication. I do feel that there's going to be important conversations which will bring endings and new beginnings and a sense of healing. Now, anything to do with the throat does speak to conversations. It speaks to our vocal cords. It speaks to anything concerning the throat. And Taurus rules the throat. Through the throat, through our vocal cords, we can sing, we can make music, we can bring harmony. But through the vocal cords, we can spit out poison. So, this is in opposition, and an opposition does speak to a tug of war. So two sides of things, lots of people being in opposite positions where their opinions are concerned, relating to leadership, home, career, our country. The fourth house is where it's very personal. If we look at the first 6 signs below the horizon, they're very much about our personal lives. Up above the horizon is more about the outer world, the collective, right? And there is opposition. There is opposition here. So do we feel safe, sound, happy, and provided for in our homes? Now, on that note, I wanted to also point out about what's going on in Australia. Australia is on very strict rules lockdown again. The people are not happy about it at all. And I was wondering, because the eclipses that we had just recently have been visible above Australia. And usually when an eclipse is visible with a naked eye, something comes about. Something needs to change. It's very karmic. Remember, the eclipses happen on the nodes, and the nodes are very karmic. So I was wondering what was going to happen again with Australia. We did have those bushfires last year. The year before. Actually, yeah, when I was living in Sydney, Australia, we left December from there, 2019. There were bushfires. Remember that? So much damage, so many hectares, and so much was burnt down to the ground. They had the biggest bushfires of all times. It was a massive catastrophe. And yes, the eclipses were over Australia. They were visible over Australia. So I was wondering what would happen again this time with Australia. And it's all concerning the pandemic again. And from what I read, because I do watch the news, I do see what people comment, you know, and I see that people are not happy at all with the way the governments are, you know, taking charge and doing things. People are starting really seriously not to believe everything that is being served to them. And on that note, for those of you that disagree, everyone is entitled to their opinion, okay? And that is a freedom of speech, which I believe in. You know, democracy was born in Greece. Democracy means I'm able to speak my opinion. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, whether it sounds the same as what the other person thinks or, you know, believes. That's a different story altogether. The thing is, everyone, is that people have been split in two. There are many opinionated people that are forcing their opinion or their points of view to other people. That is not democracy. You can speak your opinion, but also listen to the other person's opinion. You may not agree with everyone. So let's agree to disagree. That's how it should be. Yeah, a lot of you may not agree on what's going on, but, you know, and it is winter in the land down under there in Australia. It is, Australia being in the southern hemisphere, it is winter time and people do get sick. But the way the government is going about it, closing everything down, shutting everything down, remember that shutting everything down kills the economy. And remember that there is a lot of fear that is being served out to humanity. So my opinion, now I want you to look back at the astrology. Let's look at Mercury here. Mercury and Neptune. Mercury, as it was retrograding in its home sign of Gemini, it obviously retrograded past the degree of Neptune, so it was in square to Neptune. Neptune can speak to medicines, it can speak to the media, the news, anything that is of imagination. It's the TV, it's the internet, everything that is not real and tangible, right? Anything that could be an illusion. Mercury, though, being the left brain, the logic, in Gemini, which Gemini is two sides, it's the twins. It's differences in opinion, or it's I'm needing to see both sides so I can make my mind up. Mercury is very curious. And remember that Mercury is the messenger. He's the messenger of the gods. He delivers the messages to the people because he visits Hades. He can, what is special about Mercury is that he can visit any place. He can go to the ethers. He visits Uranus and he can visit Pluto. He can visit the sky, you know, the ethereal planes, and he can visit the underworld where Hades is and Kronos is and the shadow. So he's the messenger of the gods. He will deliver messages, good or bad, but messages that stand where logic is concerned, because he's done his homework. Do not wear those blinders. Please take those blinders off. The blinders are Neptune. Take the blinders off and be open to other people's opinions. Don't wear the blinders, just like a horse. You know, those race horses, okay, they've got only one target. They can only see forward. They cannot have a, you know, that higher perspective, which is Uranus in Taurus, okay? Uranus in Taurus and Aquarius. Well, Uranus rules Aquarius and Saturn is there as well in Aquarius. Both Saturn and Uranus rule Aquarius. So it's all about humanity. Aquarius is the future. It's science. It is truth. It is philanthropy, it's the collective, it's the good for the people, it's human rights, it's groups and associations and politics, internet, intelligence, spirit, ethereal. And it's the collective vision. It's time to see things from a higher perspective, even though Saturn might be trying to hold us back to the old way things used to be done, the old patriarchal system, the old way of doing things. Now it's all about the matriarchy. It's about that recessive, loving, nurturing energy that we need to be shifting to, because the patriarchal system is breaking down. Okay. Where was I? I got carried away. So Mercury here was retrograding here in Gemini. Okay, and it was retrograding from the 24th degree all the way up to the 16th degree. So remember, Neptune was around here, the 22nd, 23rd degree. So Neptune and Mercury squared 3 times. Now, with the third square, as Mercury was passing the 23rd degree and onto the 24th degree, coming out of its shadow phase in its home sign of Gemini for 9 weeks, everyone. It's a big deal, right? It squared a 3rd time, and I feel that with this 3rd square, which means Mercury, it's done its homework concerning the past relationships, past situations, fated situations, because the North Node is here. Mercury can also speak to, yes, children, communication, collaboration, doing business, right? Mercury's been doing its homework. It's been searching. And remember that Mercury also rules Virgo, and Virgo is all about health, and Neptune is all about medicines. So is it true, or is it an illusion? Are we being told the truth, or are we wearing blinders? And have we been served with lies, with propaganda? It's interesting, and what is really interesting is that I do believe a lot of things are going to come out. They will be aired. We're going to see the truth now. It's inevitable. And remember that because we've got Saturn and Uranus, this square has been playing out and will be playing out even come 2022. Remember that we've had a T-square here with Mars triggering this T-square. So Uranus and Mars have been in square as well. And this T-square has been very much about pressure building. So it's the Saturn it's the old, it's the conservative, it's the old order, it's law and order, it's establishments and the authorities as well as discipline. Uranus being the people, okay, and all the other things that I spoke of. Remember, Uranus is the maverick. It's new ways of doing things. It's having that ethereal ability, that 2020 vision. It's the higher mind. That's what Uranus is. And they've been in square, so matters to do with the old and the new, and Mars is triggering this T-square. So there's a lot of pressure building amongst the area of the fixed signs, and that's including Scorpio. So whoever is born around the 14th, well, I'm going to say even from the ending of the first decan, let's say, to the second decan of the fixed signs, and that means the second lot of 10 days, because each sign has got 30 degrees, right? So from 10 degrees till 20 degrees, I feel that those of you that have got planets, points, your sun, your moon, maybe even your rising sign, important points as the IC, the MC, which is, your goals and your aspirations, rising and, well, the ascendant and the descendant. At roughly from 10 to 20 degrees of the fixed signs, which are Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, and Scorpio, it will be a very triggering time for you. Now, Venus and Mars have conjoined. Looking back at, the past astrology, before Mars entered the sign of Leo, there was no fire. Everything was sort of dull and dragging on. When we've got fire, we've got action, we've got movement forward. And just speaking about fire, as Mars entered Leo, we've had a lot of fires in many, many places. I mean, Cyprus had one of its worst bushfires since 1960. So Mars in Leo, Mars is the ruling planet of Aries and Scorpio. Scorpio does speak to death and transformation, a sense of resurrection. Aries is the warrior. It's cardinal fire. I want to move forward. I'm going to take action. I desire this. So I'm on fire. Okay? And Venus being here, everyone, which, well, on the note of talking about Cyprus, I mean, Cyprus is the island of Aphrodite. Aphrodite was born, in the waters of Cyprus. So it's interesting, very interesting indeed. But also, let's say on a more personal scale, Mars and Venus conjoining, this is a lot of desire to connect. Remember, Leo is, again, leadership. It's fixed fire. So fixed means I'm insisting on this. I need this. I mean, Mars in Leo is, this is what I want and this is what I'm going to go and get. Venus in Leo is very extravagant, very generous, very loving. She, we're going to have people announcing that, I'm in love with this person, making announcements concerning anything that they love, who they love, what they want to create. And remember that these two were the lovers of the zodiac. So, Venus was married, so she was in a love affair with Mars, and they connected and came together, and Cupid was born from this connection. Cupid, the god of love. Remember, he holds a poisonous arrow. So it could be a very important time for love affairs or connections, romantic connections that are out of bounds or not supposed to be having, but people are just going for it. Leo, remember, is the heart. If the heart is in something, it's going to be, someone's going to take the action towards it. And again, Leo is the children. It's the child. It wants to flirt. It wants to have fun. It wants to connect. So having a square over, and this is, we're having Venus squaring over to Uranus. By the time you get this video, it's happening now. As you're listening to me, we've got Uranus in Taurus squaring over to Venus. This could be surprising messages of love. This could be shocking events concerning maybe even anything to do with money, because Uranus in Taurus is the money house. Uranus is ups and downs. It's cryptocurrency. It's, new ways of doing money. It's also drastic changes because, remember, Taurus is fixed earth and Venus rules. Uranus is in a Venus-ruled sign and they're squaring, okay, which means a square means I'm sort of pulling on something, and something's got to give. There is pressure here. We're turning a corner. A square is not easy, but of course it brings in the desired outcome, even though it may be hard because Uranus can be quite shocking. Venus in Leo, remember, it's going to take a risk. We're taking a risk on love here. Uranus can speak to messages through social media as well, messages of love in Taurus, because Taurus is Venus ruled. Where there is value, someone will be taking the action, okay, to produce, because something is going to be produced here. Now, we've also got a beautiful trine here, and the lovers are connecting beautifully to Chiron. There will be a solution. This is beautiful celestial energy. It's flowy energy. It's fire. Okay, a grand fire trine, which is absolutely very helpful, but you know, it's connecting here with the South Node in Sagittarius and Juno. And Juno is like, it's our commitments. We're letting go of commitments that do not serve us anymore, commitments that have run their course, and that could be in love, that could be in business. I mean, Sagittarius is also ruled by Jupiter. So remember, Jupiter is also in a water sign in Pisces with Neptune together. So it's a magical time, as Jupiter will still be in Pisces up until the end, the 29th, I would say, of July. So bringing in the blessings, magical. It's a magical time. Remember, Jupiter is expansion, growth, optimism, right? But Jupiter is going to return back to Aquarius. So just thinking of what's going on in the month of July, I mean, you know, Mars and Venus are very strong, moving through the sign of Leo. Once they ingress into Virgo, they're not going to be very strong at all. It's going to be a bit of a slump. And Jupiter is going to return to the sign of Aquarius, where a lot is going on in the sign of Aquarius. We're having 2 full moons in July and in August in the sign of Aquarius. So those of you that have got strong Aquarius in your chart, something is completing. And having 2 consecutive full moons is quite rare. So something quite rare will be happening in the Aquarian realm, let's say, because everyone has Aquarius somewhere in their chart. Okay, so what else is going on? What else is important? Let's see. Yeah, I think that was important concerning the new moon. Pluto is also in trine to Black Moon Lilith, which she's a dark deity and very, very hard to deal with. She's very similar to Eris in the sense that she demands justice, she demands equality and respect. But a trine is very flowing. It's helpful, everyone. And also Saturn from Aquarius is trining over to the North Node. Now, you know, the North and the South Nodes, they're on 2 stars, two gigantic stars, Aldebaran, and Aldebaran is on the North Node. I should say the North Node is on Aldebaran, which is Archangel Michael. So don't forget to send your wishes out to Archangel Michael. Antares is another archangel. It's Archangel Uriel. And, you know, both these archangels are classified as warriors. So the fact that the North and the South Nodes being on, you know, these gigantic stars, it's a fated time of events that will be playing out. Remember, they're protectors of the gates. They're gatekeepers. So where, let's say, the darkness, because Saturn can speak to karma, can speak to negativity, and darkness. Remember, Kronos used to eat his own children. Where there is darkness, I do feel that there is celestial help, especially having a trine over to the North Node. And we know moving towards the North Node is not easy. It's getting uncomfortable, right? So where Saturn being in its in Aquarius, which it loves to be, it's very strong here, but it's also the ability to transmute, I would say, and to, even though it's fixed air, I do feel that the North Node and with the protectors of the gates of our our lives. I do feel that this is celestial help, help coming from spirit, protecting us from any dark forces entering our lives. I truly feel that because of the trine. Also, on another note, for those of you that have been working really hard towards something that you needed to get uncomfortable with, something, remember the North Node is a collective. The collective nodes are here, North Node in Gemini and South Node in Sagittarius. This is for everyone, as well as us personally. But remember, it relates to the collective. I do feel that there is protection here, and whatever we've been working really hard towards, the protectors are there to show us the way, to show us how we can grow through an intelligent mind, through the help of the ethers, that is Aquarius. Remember, we are moving towards the age of Aquarius. We're letting go of anything to do with the past. It's a time of growing away from the past and growing towards the future. Okay? Now, what else is important for me to tell you? Also, another thing is that Venus has been in opposition. She's at 15 degrees, so recently she's opposed Saturn. So this was a bit of a disappointment, a wet blanket concerning love matters, money matters, anything to do with Venus. And Venus is all about values. She's anything that is of beauty and abundance. So there's been a bit of a setback here. But remember that now that Venus is moving away from this, and in a couple of days, let's move forward a little bit. Let's sort of change this and go to the current transits here. So we could see, as you could see here, the moon today, 8th of July, is coming up to conjoin with the sun. So I just wanted to go forward a little bit. Let's move forward to the 9th. Let's see what's going on. Here is the new moon. Mars is at 17, Venus at 14. Oh, yes. Another thing I wanted to mention, which is very, very important, is this trine, even though it's very faint, as you could see. Jupiter is at 1 degree of Pisces, and Mercury is coming up as Mercury is going to finish in its home sign of Gemini. I truly believe, because Mercury is going to pick up pace now. He's getting really fast, and he's finished what he needed to check over and look over in Gemini, in its home sign. He's ready to ingress. He's moving towards the sign of Cancer. Here we go at almost 1 degree. Can you see this trine here over to Jupiter? Now, looking at Mercury, right? Mercury is the left brain. It's the logic, and this is a trine. It's very helpful. Mercury's information. Mercury's done its homework concerning home, family, our heritage, our country, anything Cancerian, right? And it's got to do with this new moon, obviously. This is think of the mythology, okay? So the messenger is connecting with the god of all gods, the king of the gods, Jupiter. So remember that what I said, Mercury is the messenger of the gods, and he is dining with Jupiter, which is that ethereal mind. It's the higher mind. Remember, Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is optimistic. I do feel we're going to have very good news that's coming through. Absolutely. This will be, exact, practically around the 12th. Let's go forward a little bit. So 12th or 13th of the month, depending on where you are in the world. I am really looking forward to this. Remember that Jupiter in Pisces is magical. It is, Pisces is compassionate. It's very creative. It's very much about our psychological state. Remember that Pisces is right across from Virgo. Virgo is our physical state. It's Earth. Pisces is more the mind. It's our psychological state. Remember that Pisces rules medicines, imprisonment, jails, karma. It also rules escapism. So medicines, poisons, and all those things. I do feel that we're going to have good news coming through, because this is good messages that Mercury is communicating with Jupiter. So we've got the logic, the left brain, very cerebral, and that higher mind, the ability to have good news. Remember, expansion, growth, optimism, truth, which is Jupiter, and very healing as well. Very, very healing news is going to come through, everyone. So a thumbs up concerning that. Look out for information. Look out for what will be communicated around you in your own personal life, as well as in the collective. So remember, Jupiter is in the sign of Pisces, the 12th house, so it could speak to the beginning of something that is ending, something that was very karmic. The 12th house is endings. Okay, and also the 12th house is also very subconscious, so something's going to come up that we've already known, that was deep within us. We knew it. We just could not, let's say, connect to it or understand it or see it or even believe it, because remember that Pisces can be wearing those rose-colored glasses, and what is truth and what is not. So a lot of confusion is Pisces. I do feel Jupiter will give us the truth. So yes, okay, let's go on and see, because, well, this is amazing. I don't think we need to go anywhere else. This is the exact coming together of Venus, Mars, and the Moon. This is a very magical time. Do pay attention. And it's interesting because, of course, you know, these two are placed in a position where they're in trine to Eris. I do feel that by speaking up and, you know, speaking of injustices and becoming warriors and having the courage to speak up, I do feel that then there will be a magical situation, creation, birthing. Remember, the Moon in Leo is very generous. There's going to be a very generous communion, get-together, seed that is planted right now, which could last a long time. I truly believe that here. And I mean, you know, Leo is the heart, and the Moon is the Moon, and which is very motherly, is together with the Sun. If this is not creation, then I don't know what is. Okay, so do take care. This does speak to pregnancy. Not only is it on a metaphorical level, but also on a practical level. Do take care if you're not ready to fall pregnant. And straight after that, everyone, where is the Sun? Here we go. The Sun is at 20 degrees. And look at where Neptune is. The Sun will be connecting in a beautiful trine to Neptune. I mean, if this is not creation and the ability to dream big, then I don't know what is. Anything that was an illusion that you could not see through, because Neptune is clouds. It's the clouds. Well, the Sun is peeking through the clouds. Just like when we wake up in the morning and we've got a foggy atmosphere, as the Sun comes through the clouds, it starts to clear, and usually we have the brightest and most beautiful days ever. So I do feel that that's what's going on metaphorically as well. Could also be literally for some of you. And let me know what's going on with the weather in where you're residing in your country. I mean, there's been floods everywhere. We've had fires everywhere. We've had earthquakes and tremors everywhere. I mean, something's got to give. Something's got to happen. Something needs to change. And remember, yes, of course, obviously, this is very, we can explain this, but, you know, Uranus in Taurus. Taurus is the earth, it's the land, Uranus is shake-ups, but also, you know, I'd like to put a question to all of you. Why does, and I want to hear your opinion, why do the ethers, why is the reflection of our ethers, our planets, our heavens, why are they a reflection to what's going on here on this 3D plane? I'd love to hear your opinion. So it's a bit of a funny question. I'd love to hear your opinion. Is it that, you know, our lives here reflect towards the sky, or is it what's going on in the ethers reflecting here? And how is it that it's a mirroring image? I'd love to hear your opinion on that, because exactly what's going on up there is mirrored down here. So I will leave you with that. I want to thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. Hope that you're well. It's going to be a hot July, everyone, so expect things that you didn't expect to happen, of course. They could be good and they can be difficult for other people, okay? For some people, I mean, Uranus and Mars even squaring together, and Venus squaring over to Uranus. You know, this can be difficult. It could be really harsh because Uranus is like, think of it, it's like electricity, right? And Mars can be that spark. Mars could also speak to the soldier, the warrior, anything to do with the army. I mean, this, and especially when we've got Saturn in the mix as well. I mean, this could be a spark that lights a great fire, and that could speak within and concerning politics, people's countries. I mean, we're going through a breakdown and a transformation of the old. We're moving into the new, and that could pertain to so many difficulties. So do take care, love and nurture yourself. If you're in a hard situation where your personal relationships are, give it time, take a step back, take a breath, and know that you will be put on the right path, even though it could be tough sometimes. Don't stop believing. Keep the faith. This too shall pass. Okay? Know that Spirit always wants what is best for humanity, for us, and we need to believe that. Okay? So come from a place of love, as I always say. Come from a place of the heart. Okay? And where there's been an injustice, know that Spirit will come and bring the justice in sooner or later. So patience is necessary as well. All right, my beautiful children of the sky, my beautiful starseeds, sending you lots of love, lots of blessings, lots of healing energy. Take care of yourselves. Love you so much. Talk to you soon.